is an informal settlement? How have they changed over time?
I think an important point to think about informal settlements is that, especially in Brazilian cities, I think this is something you can say about global South cities, and big developed cities in general. That informality is not something that you find exclusively in low income settlements. Informality is an aspect that is a build is the cities are constructed within this aspect. So, for instance, here in Fortaleza, that is the city we live in and we study, uh, we have 70% of the constructions in the city are informal, and we're talking about the big buildings in the high income areas of the city, and also the favelas, the communities, the low income settlements. So I think it's important that we establish that informal is not necessarily poor or low income, and is actually something that is structural in the construction of cities in Brazil. I can say that about Brazil. Uh, I'm not sure about the U.S., but I think it's an important uh, aspect to look into.
Okay. What do informal settlements look like? How can you tell if you're in an informal settlement in Brazil? And then maybe we'll talk about some in the United States.
Yeah, as I'm saying, the informal settlements, they can look like a lot of things. They can look like a small house with no ventilation in a peripheral favela, or they can look like a big building for rich people in central neighborhoods, for which people pay 6 million reais to live in. There are various layers to the urban informality concept. It's very complex, uh, but people tend to understand that informal settlement is that settlement. The urban informality is the informality of the poor people, that they go into the urban spaces that are not occupied, or are not being used, and then they occupy that and make a living out of it, and they are seen as criminals because they're doing that. But it's a big living issue in Brazil, because there are a lot of people that don't have the means to have a good home. So the alternative they have is to occupy that land that is available. So that's like an easy way to talk about informal settlements, because that's kind of okay. This that land is someone's land. It's here in the middle of the city. It's not doing anything. So people come and occupy that and start living in that land. So okay, that's an informal settlement, and there are good things about that and bad things about that. But what people often don't look at is some constructions that are not according to the law, but rich people, uh, the companies, they do deals with the municipality, so they can build that uh, over the law. Like they oversee the law, they pay a lot of money, and then it becomes legal, but only because they have access to the lawmakers.
Mhm.
And low income families don't have access or political power to 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 have that kind of influence. So it's kind of like that.
Mhm. So once again, we're getting back to this question of access and a right to the city. When you have access
Yes,
to land, that creates both the obvious condition of informality on the periphery, but it also, that is structured by a parallel process of larger buildings
yes,
that are just as informal in the sort of center. But it's also
yes,
access to laws and legality.